Blues break a bit of a duck. First win down in that new stadium. New. Jeez, it's not that new, but the Blues haven't had a win down there before. 32 points to 21. Bonus point victory over the Highlanders. Down in Dunedin, that was a pretty welcome result as a Blues fan. I'll be cheering the Highlanders on next week in what seems to be an inevitable run to victory for the Crusaders. But still, in terms of this game, it had a bit of everything. Aaron Smith's foot was into all kinds of action in this game, both good and bad. But anyway, yeah, very much game of two halves. I know that's a cliche, I've said that before, but it really was. Look at all these try times for the Blues. It was pretty much all scored in that first half. They had all the momentum early. Blues had a penalty early, and they turned down 3, which showed a good bit of intent. And they had a maul, and it looked to be a try for all money. But the aforementioned Aaron Smith's foot and maybe Scott Gregory's arm were just under the ball as Eklund tried to put the ball down. And it wasn't like Smith tried to put his foot there to deliberately stop a try. His foot was just there, and there happened to be that the ball was forced on it. So the ball wasn't grounded. It wasn't a try. So the Highlanders, through the luck of his foot and a bit of Scott Gregory's arm, managed to get out of jail. However, it was only a temporary reprieve because a few minutes later, Akira Ioane goes over from the back of a big scrum. Scott Gregory gets absolutely flattened on his way through. Nobody was stopping from Akira from that far out. And yeah, they missed the conversion, so it's 5-0. 5-0 to the Blues, and they're looking pretty good value. And it doesn't take long to get the next one. A matter of minutes. Finlay Christie goes over. It was a Blues intercept. Bowden Barrett with a cross kick to Caleb Clark. He's busting tackles. And he took the ball above his head, did Caleb Clark. Did really well to then bring his arms down and manage to get through Josh Ioane and pass to Rico Ioane, then to Christie, and it's a try. They're looking fantastic at that point. 12-0. It's looking like the Blues are just going to cruise through this game. And somebody asked me during the live stream, why aren't you smiling? Because I know the Blues. And sure enough, from that point on, the Highlanders go to score like 13 unanswered points. Josh Ioane kicks a penalty, 12-3. And then the Highlanders start to get a string of penalties, and they're not taking the threes anymore. Eventually, that pays off because Ash Dixon gets a try on 20 minutes from a maul, and they kick the conversion to make it 12 points to 10. The momentum has gone from all Blues to all Highlanders. They got the ref blowing like 4 or 5 penalties in a row. I'm surprised, if anything, the Blues didn't get warned for a yellow card earlier than they did, because it was kind of quick succession that the Blues were really under the pump. So, yeah. Both sides kind of got out of jail on defense at points. They were both right on their own 5-meter line or so when their guys at the breakdown would manage to force a penalty. So, both sides kind of hanging on. And then, in a big swing of momentum, Papali'i got the ultimate intercept try from a loose Highlanders carry. He goes like 70 meters for a big loose forward. He's got backs chasing him. They can't catch him. But you'll notice Papali'i's name is not on the board, and it's because the TMO chalked that one off because they ruled that Carl Tuinukuafe interfered with Aaron Smith in the build-up to that ball from the Highlanders going loose, because he was on the ground towards the side of a ruck as Aaron picked up the ball and ran to his left. He tripped over Carl. Now, it's his foot being involved again, and I was pretty pissed off with that call, because I do understand, of course, Carl can't be there. And it's hard to get out the way, and it does grind my gears sometimes when scrum halves milk penalties like that. But you got to penalise them, otherwise you'll get lazy runners disrupting the game all day long. People will take it to a cynical level. Do I think Carl was being cynical? No. But do I think Carl tripped up Aaron Smith? No. From one angle that I saw, I think they only showed it once. It was kind of a slow-mo angle, not the main angle from the main camera on the stand, but one of the ground level cameras. He tripped himself up. I swear he tripped himself up just to milk a penalty. And it's part of the reason I can't watch football or soccer anymore, because seeing a grown man throw himself to the ground trying to win advantage, it just grinds my gears, man. Aaron just seemed to stub his toe into the ground and then fall over. From the other angle, it looks like he tripped over Carl. Maybe if Carl's not there, he doesn't do it, but I'm sure it was a conscious decision to milk a penalty. And it worked. Which, yeah, I was not a happy chappy with that one. And that put the Highlanders into the lead. I was trying not to be biased to the Blues, but I like to think if a Blues scrum half did that, I would just said, take that sleazy crap and put it in the bin, man. Just play the game. Run into him and trip over him properly, but don't trip yourself up like a fool. Anyway, rant over. They were punished because the Blues got a try pretty much immediately after. It was TJ Fa'ane. It was pretty much straight from the kickoff. The Blues got a turnover. Clark, that man again to Christie. TJ, and then it was 17 points to 13. They missed the conversion. Josh Kiwana kicked another penalty to bring it within a point, 16-17. But then right before halftime, Tuanga Fasi got another try for the Blues. The momentum was starting to swing back the Blues' way towards the end of that first half. The Blues had gone through phases after a big scrum, only a couple of phases, and that was 24 points to 16 at halftime. So the first half was Blues, man. They scored 4 tries to 1. They were being penalised, but other than that, they were looking pretty good. They had 261 run meters to 112, so they were getting the run meters. They had more possession and more territory. Both sides were tackling really well, 91% for the Highlanders, 88% for the Blues. But it's interesting, you can tackle at 91% and still concede 4 tries. Penalties conceded was 7-4. Second half, and it starts off pretty well for the Blues, man. Christie gets his second. He had a pretty good game. Aerial ball from Bowden. I think it was Hunt that took it, the fullback, not the loose forward. And the Blues managed to get a turnover. It was a loopy pass from Bowden Barrett, which I think probably drifts a little bit forward, but it's because he's running forward. It's the backwards out of the hands thing. And Christie's the man who goes over for the try. I think it was the pass to Lambourne, but then it went back to Christie. And that made it 29 points to 16. And the Blues kicked the penalty on 55 from a big scrum. The scrum was getting all kinds of pay for the Blues to make it 32 points to 16. But 32, that's where the Blues finished. That's at 55 minutes. The rest of the game, the Blues spent essentially on defence. And give credit to their defence for holding out, because they had to hold out for ages. The Highlanders had loads of 5-metre lineouts. They couldn't quite get it done. Some of them were loose. The Blues were getting a few turnovers, but the exit play was never very good, kicking it still within the 22, just outside the 22. They couldn't escape their own half, man. And the yellow card warning did take a while to come, but eventually it came, and it was Mafaleo that got yellow carded, and it was quite amusing because he was looking for a number 18, and Mafaleo wasn't turning around. He's like, "Are you 18?" And he was just looking at him like he's just been caught red-handed. And he's like, "Turn around." And he was trying to say something to the ref. And the ref was just like, "Turn around." Shows him his number. You're gone. Caught in the naughty boys chair. So if I'm giving the ref a bit of grief for being soft on Aaron Smith for that Hollywood dive, I will say on the other side, I wish the ref had been a bit harder on the Blues for the penalties and the yellow card warning. I think that's fair. Eventually, though, the Highlanders do get through Frizzell. 76 minutes. Again, they go phases, and it had to come. It's just been building for so long, but it was like a 25-minute try in the making. 20 minutes, maybe. So, just took too long, and it left the Highlanders with too much to do too late. Finishes 36 points to 21. So, the Blues managed to get a winning bonus point. 5 tries to 2. So, 3 more than the opposition. And it still means they're alive in the competition. It's all in the Crusaders' hands now. The Highlanders can do the Blues a favour next week if they somehow manage to eke out a win in Christchurch. But it seems unlikely. They're pretty hard to beat in Christchurch, even if they were beaten for the first time in years the other week. But you'd imagine it's maybe another couple of years before they lose there again. Who knows? Anyway, the game finishes. Final stats. Run meters 323 to 381 in the Blues' favour, but still pretty even. The Highlanders end up with more possession and more territory. 56% possession, 57% territory. Second half, it was 64-70. That's possession and territory. 70% territory in that second half. The Blues just couldn't exit, man. Also, the Highlanders lineup was good, 14 from 15. The Blues was 5 from 7, which is not great reading. A couple of easy ones that didn't go straight. Penalties conceded 14-8, so the Blues were almost double. Took too long to get that yellow card out for mine. Both sides tackled pretty well, 93% for the Highlanders, and yet they still conceded 5 tries. Blues 88%. Had to make 111 tackles to the Highlanders 75. Yep. Caleb Clark looks dangerous, man. 66 run meters, 3 defenders beaten, 3 offloads. Dylan Hunt, 11 from 12 tackles. I think Michaeli Tu'u had a bunch of run meters. So, yeah, good game. I found it pretty entertaining. Couple of clangers, I thought, but everyone is going to see it differently, I guess. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. How did you think it went? How do you see the Highlanders going next week? They probably could have got a better result in this one, but like I said, it just took them too long to really break through towards the end. So, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.